Hi, I'm Juby, and we're here at the Chicago BL, which is the Midwest's largest transgender conference. And I am here today with Carlo Chavez, who's with the Wren Center, and he is the bilingual HIV/AIDS prevention coordinator. But I also understand you're here with sort of wearing two hats today. Why else are you here?
Well, that's correct. I'm here as a vendor. I have a small business on the side where I sell handcrafted sterling silver made by my relatives down in Tasco, Mexico. So it's been my 5th year here.
Oh yeah.
I've been here for 5 years, and it's a beautiful experience. It's a very, very enlightening learning experience every year for me. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience working and living in the suburbs and being in the field of HIV/AIDS for the past 14 years. It's still a lot of things that I think it's important to address, particularly with the Latino community. We received funds several years ago through SAMHSA, a federal organization, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Agency, to do HIV/AIDS prevention and substance abuse in combination to target the Latino, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community. It was a huge experience, very interesting to find out that within the suburbs in the 5-year period, we were able to recruit more than 350 members. Not all of them active, but 350 Latino LGBT were well aware about who we are and what we do. We copied the program from the University of California, San Francisco. The title of the program is Hermanos de Luna y Sol, Brothers and the Moon of Sun, that Dr. Rafael Diaz put together, and he gave us the opportunity to implement the program, which it primarily deals with HIV/AIDS prevention. During this program, we find out that there was a pretty good, decent size of transgenders in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and talking with them about HIV/AIDS and substance abuse, our findings, unfortunately, they were pretty sad. I mean, in general, with the Latino community, still sex and sexuality is the huge taboo for many reasons. It can be religious, it can be cultural, machismo, marianismo, you name it. There are too many factors. And of course, HIV/AIDS is just something that we don't want to hear, we don't want to talk about it. Then, when you build that trust and they start open up, horrendous stories you can hear from girls immigrated to the United States not because the need of work or something, is because they wanted to be who they really are, and they were dishonored by the family. The family pretty much kicked them out. Some of them came to this country looking for a better lifestyle. Opportunities are not easy for Latinos, and then being trans, it was even worse. So sad to say, but there were some of them, they ended selling their body, exchanging sex for drugs or, prostitution. There were some of them mistreated by the same community, isolated. Of course, no mental health services in the northwest suburbs, who really are prepared to deal with the LGBT community, Latino. So everything is being so centralized in Chicago that when you think about transportation, number one, lack of documents sometimes, and language and cultural, it's very complicated, and they're facing serious mental health issues, from depression, from acceptance, from you name it, attached to HIV/AIDS, high-risk behaviors, drugs, alcohol. I mean, it's not a pretty picture, and unfortunately, I haven't seen any major efforts from the community at large to address those things. It's not all bad news. it was encouraging to find out 2 or 3 girls who were openly being trans in the community. I can mention one particularly. She's been an incredible entrepreneur. She's business oriented, very nice lifestyle, owns a house dedicated to her business, a partner,
Mm-hmm.
So we are trying to encourage her to be really a role model and help us to understand more about what's going on with the community. I always been, my personal point of view is that if we want to learn more about a particular group, in this case the trans, we need to have somebody who can educate us, the ones who are not in
Mm-hmm.
part of the trans community. We urge the community to open their eyes at large and see that we're all not fit in one box. To give you an example, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they just until now they're giving an opportunity to have evidence-based program targeting Latinos, designed by Latinos for Latinos with Latinos. The African American community and the Latino might have similarities, but we have differences. And you felt like a second class, when they said, oh, do this, just adapt it to your needs, but we don't want to spend the time and effort to understand what's going on. I think it's not a very friendly way. Outreaching the trans community, it's been very difficult. They still isolated, they still in the bars where there's not the healthiest lifestyle, and we would love to have them back to create a lot of, to encourage them to be part of the whole trans community, and be very proud of who they are as Latinas, as a trans, and again, create healthier lifestyles for them and for the whole community. That's basically what I've learned in my years since I was passing around condoms and waving and chatting. And again, when you live in the suburbs, the lifestyle is completely different than what you live in Chicago or in a large city. You here in Chicago, you can get lost and nobody cares. But in the city, you're going to get tested for HIV at the health department, and probably if the receptionist is bilingual, she's related to somebody who's from your hometown or you name it. So can you imagine being a trans? It's just even worse for them. There's a kind of a fear to go with the physician and tell them, well, this is who I am, this is what I am. Because, there's still the taboo, there's still the stigma. So therefore, they don't seek for physical health for physicians. And they really, I don't think the doctors are, they are not really prepared to treat, particular individuals with specific needs.
So could you tell us a little bit more about the Ren Center and where it originated?
Sure. Ren Center started 48 years ago, thanks to Mr. Jim Renz, recovering alcoholic, and Mr. Jim Renz shared that when he opened up first, it was above a bar, so they had customers going down there, and for 48 years we still provide substance abuse treatment. Under Ren's, we have the prevention area where I worked, and 14 years ago I got involved into the HIV/AIDS Hispanic program offered by the American Red Cross, because we knew the relationship with substance abuse and HIV, and I got involved into the field of HIV/AIDS exactly 14 years ago. After that, the Illinois Department of Public Health, fortunately, realized that there was a lot of need of Spanish-speaking Latinos, bicultural. I really don't like to put just the Spanish speaking, because it's not only the language, it's to understand the culture more than. But anyways, to make the story short, they invited us to start doing outreach at the Latino bars, passing around condoms and provide information about where they can get tested. So we visit all the Latino nightclubs in Aurora, Carpentersville, Elgin, the northwest suburbs, Kane County and suburban Cook, just building bridges, and they call us the condom man, they call me, and that's where I start to learn more and more about too many different issues that I was not aware of: bisexuality, trans, you name it. And we were very successful, so we continue to receive funds from the Department of Public Health, and we had this opportunity to start working with the Latino gay community, and we funded a small support group because we knew that there was a need there, and we call it the Two Latino Spirit group, female spirited, and it was all inspired by the Native Americans, because that's how they call the gays, that they're two-spirited, and I love that philosophy. So we decided to have the Two Latino Spirit group, and we applied for additional funds through the federal government, and from there we've been just building up a very strong relationship with the Latino community in general, and that is the beauty that Rents Addiction Counseling Center, now Rent Center, knows that we just don't target, substance abuse, people with substance abuse problems. We're friends with everybody, and with the Latino community, not only the GLBT, but the Latino community in general. And the doors are open, and we have a lot of hope that things eventually will change, and the fight against HIV is still alive. We have a lot to do. I have a lot of support from my executive director and the board, and we're very excited to see the little progress, and every day is a celebration when we have a phone call from a Latino saying thank you, or thank you, I got tested, and thank you for the information. To me, that's another star in the ocean that with my colleagues, it wouldn't be possible.
Well, you're doing absolutely wonderful work, and especially considering all the challenges in that community and in the suburbs, it's really, I'm really grateful that you're doing that
Thank
work.
you.
So will we be seeing you at further Bials?
I would love to, and I would love to see at the Biol more Latinas participating, and Latinos being here. I will feel the variety that this wonderful country brings, African Americans, Latinos, Asian Pacific Islanders, a representation of all the cultures in the races in one beautiful group like the BOL conference. It will be just one of my dreams come true, that they might have a little workshop in Spanish for trans. It will be just a dream, but I know we can do it. I know.
And I also want to thank you and appreciate you for bringing your lovely sterling silver jewelry as well. It's something that there are very important issues to look at, but there's also it brings beauty to this conference. So I just wanted to appreciate.
I like to make girls happy with the jewelry, and it's been an honor to be here for the past 5 years, and look forward to continue collaborating and selling silver at the same time. But thank you.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with Carlos Chavez from the REN Center, and who is also a vendor here at the BL.